Ladies and gentlemen, you are welcome to the Tertiary Business Science Challenge 2025 version 7.0. This is the third round of 16 contests. This time it is between two schools from the Central Region. Two schools, the Nduom School of Business and Technology and the University of Cape Coast. Two schools with a lot in common. Yes, not in terms of the type of institution they are, but because of the relationship, the mentoring and the mentee relationship between the two schools. The Nduom School of Business and Technology is a school that is affiliated in a way to the University of Cape Coast. Ladies and gentlemen, this one is going to be a father and son, a father and daughter contest. Yes, but of course, Nduom School of Business and Technology have shown that they have what it takes to give of their best and to defeat the University of Cape Coast. For Nduom School of Business, they joined the Tertiary Business Science Challenge last year, 2024. Last year at the zonal final, they came third behind the University of Cape Coast and the University of Education, Winneba. They also made it to the national championship at the same stage last year, where they were defeated by the eventual winners, the University of Ghana. So this year, they want to go a step better than they did last year. And to do that, they will have to defeat the University of Cape Coast. For the University of Cape Coast, two-time national champion, one-time zonal champion, their worst performance has been a semi-final appearance at the national event. There are no mean pushovers. So for Nduom School of Business to win this contest, they have to dig deep and be able to put up a perfect or almost perfect showing to defeat the University of Cape Coast. And that is what makes it an interesting contest. Ladies and gentlemen, with a round of applause, please let's welcome our contestants on stage. Which of you is Iron Man? Amen. Yeah, welcome, gentlemen and lady.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
All right, who do we have from Nduom School of Business and Technology?
So my name is Manasseh Amwa, BSc Banking and Finance level 400.
So I'm Lauren Chanel saying BSc Banking and Finance level 400.
And I'm Richard JB, BSc Information Technology and Management level 300.
You are welcome once again. So how has the preparation been for this contest?
Okay, it's not been easy. Looking at the late notice, it's not been easy, but by the grace of God, we try our best.
What should be the expectation from all your teaming fans back on campus? What should they expect from you?
Nothing but the best.
Who do we have from the University of Cape Coast?
Maclean Kekeli Cracker, become finance level 400.
Charles William Obeng Mensah, become accounting level 400.
And I'm James Doda Nyataba, level 400, become accounting.
What should we expect from you today?
We are going to put in our best today.
How has the preparation been like, maybe for the national?
The preparation hasn't been easy, but we've had a fruitful preparation, and we hope it's going to pay off today.
Okay, we'll see how that goes. So, ladies and gentlemen, they have said their prayers, they have run their mouth. They are hoping to put up their best. I'm hoping for violence. Ladies and gentlemen, the third round of 16 contest is upon us. And one of these two schools will qualify to join the Valley View University and the West End University College at the quarterfinal stage. Who is it going to be? Will it be the school or the school from Elmina? Ladies and gentlemen, a Central Region Derby. The contest is going to be organized in 6 rounds. Round 1 on theory, round 2 calculations, round 3 business case of the day, round 4 graphic business segment, round 5 true or false, and round 6 will be the riddles. My name is Al Hassan Yusuf Traule, and of course, I love academic violence. Let's have some violence this afternoon. So I'm beginning this round from the University of Cape Coast, UCC. Round 1. In this round, I'm going to ask you some theory questions. Your job is to explain or identify the concept that I'm referring to, depending on the nature of the question. You have 10 seconds within which to do that. If you get it correct, 3 points. If you get it wrong, of course, a bonus is available to the remaining school. For a bonus, you have 1 point. 2 attempts only at a major question, unless otherwise indicated. For a bonus, you have just 1 attempt. Please, are we ready? University of Cape Coast. Let's do something on maybe the COSO framework. Are you the one going to answer? Or are you scared on their behalf? All right. University of Cape Coast. An organization has a formal code of conduct, but when a department head violates procurement limits, senior management takes no action and the behavior continues unchecked. Identify the element of the COSO framework being applied or which is lacking, and briefly explain its effect on control effectiveness. An organization has a formal code of conduct, but when a department head violates procurement limits, senior management takes no action and the behavior continues unchecked. Identify the internal control component being applied or which is lacking, and briefly explain its effect on control effectiveness.
So the element we have here is control activities. So control activities, in the sense that management have not actually put in the necessary internal control activities that will check actions within the entity. And then its effect is that since there is no control activities to regulate the behavior of workers, there's going to be a lot of mistakes, there's going to be a lot of corruptions, there's going to be a lot of irregularities in the entity that will affect their performance.
Unfortunately, I won't accept that. It's not control activities. Bonus is available for Nduom. You've been bailed out. I'll give the answer later. Now, Nduom School of Business and Technology. A government agency requires that all electronic fund transfers over 20,000 cedis be approved by 2 senior officers before being processed. This procedure is consistently enforced. Identify the internal control component being applied and briefly explain its effects on control effectiveness. A government agency requires that all electronic fund transfers over 20,000 cedis be approved by 2 senior officers before being processed. This procedure is consistently enforced. Identify the internal control component being applied and briefly explain its effect on control effectiveness.
So the internal control measure adopted here is a technical control. This is a situation whereby the organization, this is a situation whereby an internal control measure whereby an organization allows management to send out equipment before for approval before they send it out for delivery.
That is not correct. Bonus is available. University of Cape Coast.
Okay, so we have control activities. So control activities in specific authorization. Since here the head does not actually ensure that there is an authorization of account and then other issues.
Yes. So I'm sure you've seen the difference between this and then the first one. The first one related to the control environment, the environment within the organization, and that is what was lacking. Next set of questions, still beginning with the University of Cape Coast. Okay, country A's export revenue for 2024 totaled $8 billion, while its import payments reached $11.5 billion. Officials report growing reliance on imported oil and food. Determine the international trade or macroeconomic concept illustrated in the scenario and explain what it implies about the country's economic position. Country A's export revenue for 2024 totaled $8 billion, while its import payments reached $11.5 billion. Officials report growing reliance on imported oil and food. Determine the international trade or macroeconomic concept that is illustrated in the scenario and briefly explain what it implies about the country's economic situation.
Okay, so the situation being explained, or the macroeconomic situation being explained over here, is the balance of trade, and that is where we are having, specifically the terms of trade, and that is where we are having exports and imports. And here we understand that the reliance on imported oil and other commodities is very important to the country. And as such, the deficit we are having over here being the difference of 11.5 minus 8. 11.5 minus 8.
No need for the figure. It's okay. It's fine. It's correct.
Thank you.
Nduom School of Business. Although country B has a consistent trade deficit, it receives large inflows of foreign direct investment into its mining and real estate sectors. Determine the international trade or macroeconomic concept that is illustrated and explain what it implies about the country's economic position. Although country B has a consistent trade deficit, it receives large inflows of foreign direct investment into its mining and real estate sectors. Determine the international trade or macroeconomic concept that is illustrated and explain what it implies about the country's economic position. You've been bailed out. Bonus for the University of Cape Coast.
So it is still, it is the same, it is balance of payment, specifically the finance account or the financial account, in the sense that the company receive more inflows as compared to outflows. So therefore, they will have a positive a financial account, which will have a positive impact on the balance of payment.
It is correct. Next set of questions, common preamble. You are to identify the qualitative characteristics of useful financial information that is being applied in the scenario that I'll give you. So I'm going to read out some scenarios to you. Identify the qualitative characteristic of useful financial information that is being applied. You have one attempt only. One attempt. So you identify and explain how it is demonstrated. Did you get a preamble? Still with the University of Cape Coast. During the 2024 audit, a material error was discovered in the 2023 financial statements of Nduom Limited relating to overstatement of inventory. Management corrected the error retrospectively and disclosed the nature and impact in the current year's notes. Identify the qualitative characteristics that is being applied and explain how it is demonstrated. During the 2024 audit, a material error was discovered in the 2023 financial statement of Nduom Limited relating to overstatement of inventory. Management corrected the error retrospectively and disclosed the nature and impact in the current year's notes.
Okay, so the qualitative characteristics we are having over here is the faithful representation, and with faithful representation, and that is the qualitative characteristics that talks about you being faithful in your answers that you are, or the statements that you are providing, and then it should be free from material misstatements.
It is correct. Nduom School of Business and Technology, to support its diverse user base across West Africa. Able Limited translates key accounting policy notes into French and Hausa and includes examples to explain technical terms. Identify the qualitative characteristics that is being applied and explain how it is demonstrated. To support its diverse user base across West Africa, Able Limited translates key accounting policy notes into French and Hausa and includes examples to explain technical terms.
Okay, so this is relevance. Yes, so with the relevance, it is where yes, so with the relevance, this implies that the various information needed to understand all the details of this statement here is clearly given out so that you get the actual impulse of what is being talked about.
Unfortunately, I'm unable to accept that. Bonus for the University of Cape Coast.
Okay, so the qualitative characteristics we are having over here is an enhancing characteristic which specifically talks about understandability. So here we can see that the firm is translating its financial statements into a language that its intended users are going to find it easy to understand. And they even added examples of this for clarity. And then that qualitative characteristics of understandability talks about being clear with your financial statements.
That is acceptable. For our next set of questions, we are beginning with Nduom School of Business and Technology. Nduom School of Business and Technology. So I'm going to give you some scenarios. This relates to the Hersey and Blanchard's situational leadership theory. Hersey and Blanchard's situational leadership theory. So your question will be to identify the leadership style that is being applied in the scenario and why it is appropriate. So the Hersey and Blanchard's situational leadership theory has a number of leadership styles. So I'm going to give you a scenario. You identify the leadership style that is evident in that scenario and why you think that is the case. Beginning with you, NSBT. At a pharmaceutical plant, newly hired production workers are tasked with assembling medical kits. They are eager to contribute, but unfamiliar with the assembly process. Their supervisor, Kojo, gives step-by-step instructions, sets specific output targets, and personally oversees their work throughout the day. At a pharmaceutical plant, newly hired production workers are tasked with assembling medical kits. They are eager to contribute, but unfamiliar with the assembly process. Their supervisor, Kojo, gives step-by-step instructions, sets specific output targets, and personally oversees their work throughout the day. According to the Hersey and Blanca situational leadership theory, what leadership style is being applied in the scenario, and why it's important in this situation?
The supportive leadership style.
The what?
The supportive leadership style. The supportive.
Supportive, okay.
Yes. So in this case, the employees are not able to understand the work, so the leader or the supervisor is giving them some little understanding or explaining to them some terms so that they will be able to catch up with the work.
That is not correct. Bonus for the University of Cape Coast.
So we have the leadership to be the directing leadership. So since the leader here provides directions regarding how to actually achieve the aim, or how to actually, and then set standard for them to follow. So here, that means that we are actually exhibiting the directing leadership.
That is correct. Stella is leading a team of junior analysts who have basic research skills but often seem unsure of their findings. She explains tasks thoroughly, encourages questions, offers motivational feedback, and involves them in decision making, while still retaining control over final outcomes. Stella is leading a team of junior analysts who have basic research skills but often seem unsure of their findings. She explains tasks thoroughly, encourages questions, offers motivational feedback, and involves them in decision making, while still retaining control over final outcome. So according to the Hersey and Blanca situational leadership theory, what leadership style is Stella applying here, and why is it appropriate in this situation?
Okay, so the leadership style being applied here is the supportive leadership. And then it is that leadership, and the reason behind that leadership is the fact that we see that we have junior employees who have basic knowledge or less experience, unsure of their left from right. And what she does is to explain to them, encourage them, motivates them, but she's still retaining control. And it is the most appropriate in a situation as such.
Unfortunately, I can't accept that. Bonus for Nduom School of Business and Technology.
Participation.
No, that is not correct. Even bailed out. It is a coaching or selling. Coaching or selling. Next set of questions. Nduom School of Business, your major question again. The procurement unit of the Central Regional Hospital in Tabetin issued an invitation to tender for the supply of specialist or specialized diagnostic equipment. A few days into the process and before the submission deadline, several internal developments have emerged, prompting management to consider terminating the proceedings. Identify 3 valid circumstances under which a procurement entity may lawfully cancel a procurement proceeding before the deadline for submission of tenders. The procurement unit of the Central Regional Hospital issued an invitation to tender for the supply of specialist diagnostic equipment. A few days into the process and before the submission deadline, several internal developments have emerged, prompting management to consider terminating the proceedings. Identify 3 valid circumstances under which a procurement entity may lawfully cancel procurement proceedings before the deadline for submission of tenders.
Okay, so the first thing that we can talk of is legal requirements. So yes, with the legal requirement, in a case where the order has already been placed, but there's been a law by the government that you can't proceed with trading in things like this, then obviously you have to cancel the tender. And then the second one will also be discontinuity of the business idea. In the case where the business is no longer proceeding with the business in which they are transacting. Obviously, securing the items which they've sent to the order wouldn't be of any benefit, and so they are going to cancel it. And then the third one will also be lack of financial, inadequate financial resources. Yes, they are obviously going to incur financial costs in the acquisition of these goods, and so in the case where they realize at some point in time they can't get the funds to secure them, then obviously they have to cancel it.
That's fine. It is accepted. University of Cape Coast. The Cape Coast Metropolitan Assembly initiated a procurement process for the construction of a market complex. The tenders have been received and opened. However, as the evaluation panel reviews the submissions, certain issues arise that may justify cancelling the entire process. Identify 3 valid circumstances under which a procurement entity may lawfully cancel procurement proceedings after tenders have been submitted. The Cape Coast Metropolitan Assembly initiated a procurement process for the construction of a market complex. The tenders have been received and opened. However, as the evaluation panel reviews the submissions, certain issues arise that may justify cancelling the entire process. Identify 3 valid circumstances under which a procurement entity may lawfully cancel procurement proceedings after tenders have been submitted.
So one has to do with when there is a cut in budget. So when the procurement entity realizes that there is no enough money to actually procure or to undertake that procurement, they may decide to end that procurement decision. Then the other one is when they realize that there is a decision to actually undertake that particular procurement or activity within the entity, other than procuring from an outside. So if the entity realizes that maybe later they can undertake that particular activity within the entity, then they may decide to end the procurement procedures. Then the last one is when there's a force majeure or when there's a calamity or any activity, any unforeseen activity that actually make the entire procurement activity not being able to proceed again. So, and when there is an illegality regarding that particular procurement, let's assume maybe after they have started the entire proceedings, they realizes that maybe there is new laws that actually prohibit that particular procurement activity, then they may decide to terminate it. And then when it doesn't meet the threshold.
Are they? That is correct. Let's go on. Nduom School of Business and Technology. A national telecom company, MTN Ghana Limited, studies the relationship between customer complaints and service uptime. A Pearson correlation coefficient of negative 0.95 is observed. What does this Pearson correlation coefficient signify about the relationship between the 2 variables, and how might this insight be useful in decision making? MTN Ghana Limited studies the relationship between customer complaints and service uptime. A Pearson correlation coefficient of negative 0.95 is observed. What does this Pearson correlation coefficient signify about the relationship between the 2 variables, and how might this insight be useful in decision making? Nduom School of Business.
So this is a negative correlation, and this implies that when the relationship, yes, as I indicated, the relationship is a negative relationship. So it implies that in future, the decision that they can make based on this relationship is that they've got to know that as the customer performance goes up, I mean, the uptime also goes up. I mean, there's a negative relationship between the two variables.
Please come again.
Yes, so the Pearson correlation here is a negative relationship.
Go on. I'm listening.
It's a negatively strong relationship.
I'll give you one more chance. Please speak now.
Okay, so there's a negative relationship between the two variables.
2 out of 3. Let's make progress. University of Cape Coast. CompuGhana investigates whether staff uniform color is related to daily sales performance across branches. The analysis returns a Pearson correlation coefficient of 0.00. What does this Pearson correlation coefficient signify about the relationship between the two variables, and how might this insight be useful in decision making? CompuGhana Limited investigates whether staff uniform color is related to daily sales performance across branches. The analysis returns a Pearson correlation coefficient of 0.00. What does this Pearson correlation coefficient signify about the relationship between two variables, and how might this insight be useful in decision making?
Okay, so the Pearson correlation coefficient over here being 0.00 signifies no relationship between these two variables, which is the staff uniform and that of sales performance, meaning that with this kind of result, how it can be useful to this firm is that whenever they want to wear any kind of uniform, they can go ahead and wear it, and they don't have to be worried about how their appearance in a particular day is going to affect their performance.
Yes, that is correct. On that note, we come to the end of round 1. Please show some love to them. So how was the round 1? University of Cape Coast, how do you see your performance in the first round?
Thank you, Quizmaster. Our round 1 was it's a work in progress. We are hoping to do better in the next round.
Okay. Nduom School of Business, how did the first round go?
Okay, so I think we are being tensed, and yes.
You are tensed?
We are going to come back, yeah.
Oh, why are you tensed?
We've overcome it, so it's not going to happen again, yeah, that is all.
Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, at the end of round 1, the scores. Nduom School of Business and Technology had 5 points. University of Cape Coast had 16 points. We are going into round 2, which will involve calculations. You are free to use your calculators. You will have 30 seconds within which to give me an answer. If you give a correct answer, 3 points. If it's a bonus and you get it correct, 1 point. 2 attempts only at a major question. 1 attempt at a bonus. Please, are you ready? Each of you will attempt 6 major questions. We are beginning this round from the Nduom School of Business and Technology. Nduom, you've been offered an appointment by Glyco Company Limited as tax manager for preparing and filing tax returns on behalf of the company. The following data is relevant to Glyco for 2024 year of assessments. The self-assessment returns submitted. So for self-assessment returns submitted, the tax paid on self-assessment is 1 million cedis, and the chargeable income was 4 million cedis. On the actual returns submitted, the chargeable income is 6 million cedis, and the correct tax payable is 1.5 million cedis. What is the amount of tax underpayment to be subject to interest computation? I take it again. So you've been employed by Glyco or Glyco Limited as a tax manager. You have the following information. For the self-assessment returns that were submitted, the chargeable income was 4 million cedis, the tax payable was 1 million cedis. For the actual returns that were submitted, the chargeable income is 6 million and the tax payable is 1.5 million cedis. What is the amount of tax underpayment to be subject to interest computations, beginning with Nduom School of Business and Technology?
So it is 80,000 Ghana cedis.
That is not correct. You have one other chance. You've been bailed out. Bonus for the University of Cape Coast.
500,000.
No, it is not 500,000. It is not 500,000. I won't give the answer now. Now, University of Cape Coast, your major question. Similar preamble, you have been offered employment by Piva Beverages as tax manager. You have the following information. For the self-assessment returns that were submitted, the chargeable income is 7.5 million cedis. The tax payable is 1,875,000. For the actual returns submitted, the chargeable income is 9 million cedis, and the tax payable is 2,250,000 cedis. What is the amount of tax underpayment to be subject to interest computations? I take it again. You have been offered employment as tax manager at Piva Beverages. For the self-assessment returns that you submitted, the chargeable income was 7.5 million cedis, and the tax payable was 1,875,000. On the actual returns that you submitted, the chargeable income is 9 million cedis, but the tax payable is 2,250,000 cedis. What is the amount of tax underpayment to be subject to interest computations?
So we have 375,000.
That is not correct. Bonus for Nduom School of Business.
250,000.
What?
250,000.
No, it is 150,000. 150,000. So for tax returns, when you are a company on self-assessment, you are supposed to file your returns indicating your chargeable income and then the tax that is payable. Now the law allows you to amend the returns at any point in time that you want. So if at the end of the year your actual returns is submitted, it is compared to the self-assessment that you filed, where the chargeable income or even the tax payable is the difference between them is more than 90%, then you are charged a penalty. So for instance, if you claim that you are supposed to pay your self-assessment returns, you are supposed to pay tax of 1,000 cedis, and then your actual returns comes and the difference between them is more than 10%, okay? Because you had the opportunity to revise your estimate anytime, but you failed to do that. So where the difference is more than 10%, you are subject to a penalty. Next set of questions, beginning with Nduom School of Business. Nduom, a mutual fund earned a return of 14% during the year. The risk-free rate was 4%. The market return was 10%, and the fund's beta was 1.2. Calculate the Jensen's alpha and interpret the result. A mutual fund earned a return of 14% during the year. The risk-free rate was 4%. The market return was 10%. And the fund's beta was 1.2. Calculate the Jensen's alpha and interpret the results.
%.
No, it is not correct. You have one other chance. Bailed out. Bonus for the University of Cape Coast.
Okay, so we have 2.8%. So 2.8% means that there is the actual return on the project is above the capping by 2.8%.
Yes. Now your major question, University of Cape Coast. A portfolio returned 7%. The risk-free rate is 3%. The market return is 11%. And the portfolio beta is 1.0. Calculate Jensen's alpha and interpret the result. A portfolio returned 7%. The risk-free rate is 3% and the market return is 11%. And the portfolio beta is 1.0. Calculate Jensen's alpha and interpret the results.
So we are having the Jensen alpha to be minus 4%. So minus 4% means that the portfolio earns less than 4% as compared to the capping rate.
That is correct. Nduom School of Business, next question is for you. A bond has a face value of 1,000 cedis, an annual coupon rate of 10%, and 5 years to maturity. If the required rate of return is 8%, calculate the current price of the bond. A bond has a face value of 1,000 cedis, an annual coupon rate of 10%, and 5 years to maturity. If the required rate of return is 8%, calculate the current price of the bond.
So 1,464.1.
1,000.
464.1.
No, it is not correct. Bonuses available to the University of Cape Coast.
We have 1079.85.
Yes. Why are they calling you Amachi Dede? Your major question, University of Cape Coast. A bond pays annual coupons at 6% on 1,000 CD face value. It has 4 years left to maturity, and the market required return is 8%. Calculate the current price. A bond pays annual coupons at 6% on 1,000 CD face value. It has 4 years to maturity, and the market return is 8%. Calculate the current price.
So we have 933.76.
Yes, that is correct. Please show some love to them. For our next set of questions, we are beginning with the University of Cape Coast. University of Cape Coast. A company has fixed cost of 200,000 cedis, variable cost of 10 cedis per unit, and sells its product at 50 cedis per unit. Calculate the degree of operating leverage at a sales volume of 10,000 units. A company, Glycolife, has fixed cost of 200,000 cedis, variable cost of 10 cedis per unit, and sells its product at 50 cedis per unit. Calculate the degree of operating leverage at a sales volume of 10,000 units.
$2.5.
2 what?
0.5.
No, it is not 2.5.
We had 1.053.
It is not correct. Bonus is available to Nduom School of Business.
Okay, so the answer is 5.
It's what?
5.
It is not 5. I'll give the answer later. Now your major question in Nduom School of Business. A company has fixed cost of 150,000 cedis, a selling price of 40 cedis per unit, and variable cost of 25 cedis per unit. If it sells 12,000 units, calculate the degree of operating leverage. A company has fixed cost of 150,000 cedis, selling price of 40 cedis per unit, and a variable cost of 25 cedis per unit. If it sells 12,000 units, calculate the degree of operating leverage. Bonus to the University of Cape Coast.
1.2.
No. It is 6.0. The first one, for which was your major question, was 2.0. Okay. So next set of questions, still beginning with the University of Cape Coast. A company needs to transmit 10 gig of data daily. Their current internet connection has a speed of 50 megabytes per second. How long in minutes does it take each day to complete the transmission? A company needs to transmit 10 gig of data daily. The current internet connection has a speed of 50 megabytes per second. How long in minutes does it take each day to complete the transmission?
.33.
No, it is not 3.33. You have one other chance.
0.2.
No, that can't be correct. Bonus available to Nduom School of Business. Your major question, Nduom. Studio 502 needs to upload 5 gig of raw video footage daily to a cloud server. The upload speed is 20 megabytes per second. How long in minutes will it take to complete the upload? Studio 502 needs to upload 5 gig of raw video footage daily to a cloud server. The upload speed is 20 megabytes per second. How long in minutes will it take to complete the upload?
It will take 4.167.
Can I come again?
4.167.
No, you have one other chance.
256 minutes.
No. Bonus is available to the University of Cape Coast.
4.267.
It is also not correct. Is it so difficult? So you just have to find out the number of seconds in a day, and then you convert it, the megabyte. Remember that 1 gig is about 1,024 megabytes, and those kind of. Anyway, last set of questions. No, not the last set. Is it the last set? Okay, not the last set. University of Cape Coast. Is the last set? Okay. Let's do some finance. If the exchange rate between the US dollar and the Great British Pound is $1 equals 0.75 pounds, and 1 euro equals 0.85 pounds. Calculate the cross exchange rates between the US dollar and the euro. If the exchange rate between the dollar and the pound is $1 equals 0.75 pounds, and 1 euro equals 0.85 pounds, calculate the cross exchange rates between the dollar and the euro.
So we have 0.6375.
No, you have one other chance.
Okay, so we have 0.88323.
Yes. Now to Nduom School of Business. If the exchange rate is $1 to 1.35 Canadian dollars, and 1 euro equals 1.5 Canadian dollar, calculate the USD and then the euro cross exchange rate. If the exchange rate is 1 USD equals 1.35 Canadian dollar, and 1 euro equals 1.5 Canadian dollar, calculate the US dollar to euro cross exchange rate.
Divided by 1.5. Yes.
0.96.
0.96.
96.
It is not 0.96. You have one other chance. You've been bailed out. Bonus for the University of Cape Coast.
0.9.
Yes, 0.9. So 0.90, not 0.96. That's the difference. On that note, we come to the end of round 2. Please continue with the clap. Continue with the clap. Don't stop. Don't be too stingy with the clap. Don't be stingy. The contest is between the University of Cape Coast and the Nduom School of Business and Technology. A place at the national quarterfinal is at stake. 2 schools are already there: West End University College and the Valley View University. One of these 2 schools will join them there. We'll see the performance of both schools and see who will join the 2 schools in the quarterfinal. So our scores for round 2. Whilst we wait for the scores, remember that the program is brought to us by Graphic Business in partnership with the Institute of Chartered Accountants Ghana. The program is streaming live on Facebook as well as on YouTube. Our media partners are Daily Graphic, Graphic Online. Our sponsors: GCB Bank, Compu Ghana, Glyco Life, Piva Beverages, Gold Ghana, PwC, MTN Ghana, and IC Aging. We have 4 more rounds to go. From this, we have the the business case of the day. A common problem will be given to both schools, and they will have 10 minutes within which to provide a response. Remember that our next round of 16 contest will be between the Pentecost University and the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. Do you have our scores for round 2, ladies and gentlemen? Nduom School of Business had no point in round 2. University of Cape Coast had 12 points. So you may pick your business case up for us to go through together briefly. Something on activity-based costing. Activity-based costing. A manufacturing company produces multiple products using the same facilities. While direct costs are easily traceable, the company is struggling to allocate overhead costs fairly, especially since some products require extensive quality checks and frequent setups. The finance team is considering moving from traditional costing to activity-based costing. Your question is, with reference to the particular scenario that I just read, explain the concept of activity-based costing and how it differs from traditional costing methods. Provide an example of a cost-driving activity and explain how activity-based costing will allocate costs more accurately than traditional methods. Ladies and gentlemen, that is our business case of the day. You have 10 minutes. You may start now. Please stop work and submit whatever you have. Thank you. Thank you very much. So we are on round 3. The business case of the day. The two schools were presented to a common problem. They've worked out their solution. We asked them a question on activity-based costing. The requirement of the question was for them to use the scenario to explain the concept of activity-based costing and how it differs from traditional costing methods. And also provide an example of a cost-driving activity and explain how activity-based costing would allocate cost more accurately than traditional methods. So what we expected them to do was first to explain what activity-based costing was and what the traditional costing methods or the distinction between them is. So if you're able to explain both methods, you get some 3 points. But beyond that, we expected some further differences between them. So if you're able to provide any other differences, you get some additional 2 points to make it 5. So I want you to go beyond just the norm by saying activity-based costing is this, unlike that traditional. No, go beyond that and give us some further differences. In terms of the illustration, we mentioned that you should, based on identify a product or something and then identify how activity-based costing will help to allocate costs more accurately than the traditional methods. We expect you to use some figures and make some projections. Identify the various activities and how to allocate the cost. If you're able to identify any good illustration or scenario and do the allocation, you get some 5 points. So that should be 10 marks. Now let's look at what Nduom School of Business did. They explained activity-based costing, yes. Then they linked it to the case, that's fine. Like I said, you needed to go beyond this. They didn't give any further differences beyond just explaining what activity-based costing is and what traditional costing is. That was quite simplistic. So you don't get a full marks there, you get 3 points. In terms of identifying a scenario and then explaining how costs will be allocated, you just wrote without any figures again. So I'm giving you 3 points there out of the possible 5. But you also explain one benefit. So I'll give that to you. So for your effort, you get 7 out of 10. University of Cape Coast, you explained what activity-based costing is with traditional costing. You did not go beyond, like I was saying. You get some 3 points here. You give examples of some cost-driving activities, and that's acceptable. You get another 1 point. In terms of how they allocate costs, you use some scenario, consider how many times the drivers occur, use scenarios, and you're able to explain that. So I give you the full marks there. But because you did not go further to give more examples, for your effort, you get 9 out of 10. So, ladies and gentlemen, at the end of round 3, Nduom School of Business had 7 points, University of Cape Coast had 9 points. We are going into round, then maybe substitutions by the schools. Please effect them. You're welcome, gentlemen.
Thank you, sir.
Introduce yourselves again from UCC.
So, my name is Alfred Akwada.
Your name is?
Alfred Akwada.
Okay.
Final year. Become accounting student.
Final year?
Yeah, become accounting student.
Become accountant, okay. And who do we have from Nduom School?
Okay, thank you very much. My name is Obed Iya Ahin, level 300 BSc, Banking and Finance student.
You're welcome, Obed. Yes, so ladies and gentlemen, round 4 is upon us, the graphic business segment. Now in this round, we are going to ask them questions on some stories that appeared in the graphic business newspaper. Each of you will attempt 6 major questions. For a major question, you have 10 seconds to give an answer. If it's a bonus, you have 5 seconds. 3 points for a major question, 1 point for a bonus. For the purpose of this contest, we are asking you questions on some stories that appeared in the 10th, 17th, and 24th June editions of the graphic business. Please, are we ready? If we are ready, we are beginning this round from the University of Cape Coast. University of Cape Coast. Common preamble to the two schools. Common preamble. So there was an article on Ghana's quest to revive its poultry sector. In the article, Raymond Dente identifies some roles or activities the government can take beyond funding. So you have to mention and explain briefly any of these three roles each. Ghana's quest to revive its poultry sector rests heavily on proactive, strategic, and sustained government leadership. Real change will only occur when government assumes the role of facilitator and enabler. In the article, Raymond Dente identifies some roles or actions that government can take beyond the funding. Identify and explain briefly any three of these. University of Cape Coast.
So one, they have to establish procurement quotas for institutions, which this means that the national poultry sector should give a particular number of poultry or birds should be requested to each institutions, and also collaborating with the Bank of Ghana and Development Bank to provide funding to the poultry sector, and also provide some tax incentive for poultry, for those investing in poultry sector.
That is correct. Nduom School of Business.
Okay, so it was stated that the government can improve infrastructure.
I can hardly hear you, sir.
Okay, so the government should improve infrastructure in terms of the available facilities needed for the poultry farming, and also establish a coordinating council that would overlook the activities of these poultry farmers, and it can also set an import control on import of poultry products into the country to prevent flooding the markets with imported poultry goods.
Well, who is clapping? 2 out of 3. Next set of questions, also common preamble. Common preamble. As Ghana embarks on a transformative journey to reclaim a 25% of its poultry market from imports, a critical challenge looms: how to sustainably feed this ambition. This is where the Sustainable Livelihoods for the Youth through Agriculture, also known as the SULIA initiative, offers a timely and practical solution, as mentioned by Raymond Dente. So a key innovation under the SULIA initiative is the bundling of credit and input finance with agric insurance to mitigate production and weather-related risk. University of Cape Coast, mention any 3 benefits the youth will get from this integrated risk management. A key innovation under the SULIA initiative is the bundling of credit and input finance with agric insurance to mitigate production and weather-related risk. Mention any 3 benefits the youth will get from this integrated risk management.
Okay, thank you. So when we are looking at the benefits the youth is going to derive from an initiative as such, we could look at the easy access to expand productivity. That is, and also we could talk about creation of jobs or job security, and then we could also, yes, so I'm talking about the food insurance and security, and then we could also talk about the youth trying to create opportunities for the exportation of food, which could also increase the export revenue for the country themselves, and then the youth also can also yeah.
I'm not taking that. Bonus for Nduom School of Business.
Okay, so we have, it is going to create jobs for the youths since there are venturing into that, you will be able to do one or two things to earn them income, and also it is going to reduce the over reliance on imported poultry products, and then increase exports. As since they are being produced locally, they'll be able to export them for finance. And it will increase foreign exchange earnings, since as exports increases, foreign currency comes in.
I'll take that. I'm not sure you people even listened to the question well. It was quite specific to something. I was talking about the integrated risk management, the risks or the benefit of that integrated risk management that is being implemented. Now, your major question in Nduom School of Business. Social protection mechanisms will be embedded to enhance resilience, that is under the Sulia project. Social protection mechanisms will be embedded to enhance resilience. Youth farmers will have access to micro-insurance products. Mention any three of these micro-insurance products. Mention any three of the micro-insurance products. Bailed out, bonus for the University of Cape Coast.
Okay, so we have the life insurance, accident insurance, and the commodity insurance.
And the what?
Commodity insurance.
Come again, the last one.
So we have the life insurance, the accident insurance, and the commodity insurance.
Commodity?
Yes, please.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, so that is fine. It's accepted. Next set of questions, still beginning with the University of Cape Coast. Common preamble to the two of you. According to the Ghana Statistical Service, Ghana's overall economy recorded 5.3% year-on-year growth in the first quarter of 2025, driven primarily by strong performances in the services and agri sector. That is a preamble. So Ghana's overall economy recorded 5.3% year-on-year growth in the first quarter of 2025, driven by strong performances in the services and agri sector. Now, University of Cape Coast, identify any three subsectors within the services sector and indicate their year-on-year rate of growth in the first quarter. Identify any three subsectors within the services sector and indicate their year-on-year rate of growth in the first quarter.
We have the information and communication, which has 13.1. And we have finance and insurance, which is 9.3%. And we have transport and storage, which is 8.6%.
Yes. Nduom, identify any three subsectors within the agriculture sector, and indicate their year-on-year rate of growth in the first quarter. Identify any three subsectors within the agri sector and indicate their year-on-year rate of growth in the first quarter.
So we have the poultry sector there, which has...
Manasseh, are you talking or not?
Yes, so we have the poultry sector there, which has 13.1%. And then we have the fishery sector, 11.8%.
I can't accept that. That is not correct. None of the figures is correct. Bonus for the University of Cape Coast.
So we have fishing to be 16.4%. We have crop to be 6.7%. We have livestock to be 5.6%.
Yes, that is correct. Next set of questions, this time beginning from Nduom School of Business and Technology. Common preamble. Marketing is often perceived as a tool exclusive to the private sector aimed at profit maximization. However, in the context of public sector delivery, Marketing can serve as a strategic instrument. Dr. Ibn Khailan Abdul Hamid, in his article on incorporating marketing in public service delivery, discusses 5 key marketing innovations that public sector organizations can adopt to raise funds and improve service delivery outcomes. So for each of the following marketing innovations, identify 3 ways in which it can be achieved. So I'm going to mention a marketing innovation to you. Yours is to tell me 3 ways in which that can be achieved. Is that clear, please? Beginning with Nduom School of Business and Technology. Yours is public-private partnerships. Public-private partnerships. Bonus for the University of Cape Coast.
Okay, so in the private-public partnership, what the public institutions can do is to identify various areas where the private sector can help in areas of finance and efficient operations. Then they develop a contractual framework which is supposed to protect and equally allocate risk, and then to implement monitoring and evaluation techniques to be able to monitor performance.
Yes, that is correct. Now, University of Cape Coast, your major one is value-added services. Value-added services.
Okay, so with the value-added services, the public entity can identify extra activities which they can run in the entity to generate profits, and they can also look at the pricing, their pricing strategy, and then they can also look at services which they can run in the public sector entity that can help in generating extra revenue, which is going to be invested in the goal or the objective of the entity, of the public entity.
I'll accept that. That's fine. That's correct. Next set of questions. Common preamble. Beginning with Nduom School of Business. Common preamble. For the past decade, an innovative force has reshaped Ghana's entrepreneurial landscape. The MBA in Impact Entrepreneurship and Innovation, a groundbreaking program delivered by the E for Impact Foundation in collaboration with the Catholic University of Milan and the University of Professional Studies, Accra. That's a preamble. You have to mention any 3 key features, that's each of you, that make this MBA different, as stated by Dr. Andrew Ayuku in his article. Mention any 3 key features of the MBA in Impact Entrepreneurship and Innovation, as stated by Dr. Andrew Ayuku in his article. Nduom School of Business.
So the 3 is this one that makes it different is that it has its alumni is all is around 23 African countries, and also they organize a camp booth meetings, and also it's at the end of the day the youth will be able to develop a business plan.
That's fine. I'll accept that. But it's not camp boot, it's boot camp. University of Cape Coast.
Okay, so one distinguishing feature of this MBA program is that they offer support for development of a business plan. They also offer a 1-week trip.
Business plan has been mentioned.
Okay, so they also offer a 1-week business trip to Italy where they can network, so they can have the I've already mentioned training. Yes, so they can also have
so it's one which is left, which you haven't mentioned. You are trying to just play words around. And that is a focus on social and environmental impact. Our last set of questions for this round. Last set of questions. Common preamble as well, or not? Yes, common preamble, something on Uber technologies. It was incorporated in 2009. From its headquarters in San Francisco, Uber is operational in more than 600 cities. Now, unlike other parts of the world, where establishing a taxi service is not much of a problem, establishing a taxi business in major metropolitan cities does not come easily. Nduom School of Business, mention any 3 of these hard-to-access cities. Mention any 3 of the hard-to-access cities for taxi business. That is major metropolitan cities where it is not easy to establish taxi business.
Yes, so there's Paris, Amsterdam,
What?
Mexico City. No.
1 out of 3. The University of Cape Coast, your major question. Where Uber was not well received, it had to adopt unconventional methods in establishing itself by first introducing the service and fighting off attempts by regulators to shut it down. Mention any 3 of the cities where Uber has encountered strong resistance from city authorities to operate. Mention any 3 of the cities where Uber encountered strong resistance from city authorities to operate.
So we have Brussels, we have London, we have Delhi.
Yes, that is correct. That is correct. On that note, we come to the end of round 4. Come to the end of round 4. So gradually we are inching close to the end of the contest. We have 2 more rounds to go. The true or false segment and the riddles segment. A place at the quarterfinal is at stake. One of these 2 schools will join Valley View University and the West End University College at the semi-final. So ladies and gentlemen, the scores for round 4 is as follows. Nduom School of Business and Technology had 6 points. University of Cape Coast had 17 points. Please show some love. Let's clap for them. Round 5. This round commences with the Nduom School of Business and Technology. Nduom School of Business. Here I'm going to read out some statement to you. Tell me if the statement is true or false. If you get it right, 2 points. If you get it wrong, -1. You may decide not to answer, in which case the other school may take it up under the same condition. You have the opportunity of answering 6 major questions. You have to give your answer in 10 seconds. Are we clear? Yes. Nduom. One major drawback of external recruitment is the higher risk of cultural misfits, which can impact retention. One drawback of external recruitment is a higher risk of cultural misfits, which can impact retention. True or false?
True statement. True statement.
Yes, that is correct. Please don't speak. University of Cape Coast. Internal recruitment eliminates the need for job analysis and role clarity, since employees already know what is expected. Internal recruitment eliminates the need for job analysis and role clarity, since employees already know what is expected.
False.
Yes, it's false. Nduom School of Business and Technology, the operating profit margin and the net profit margin always move in the same direction. The operating profit margin and net profit margin always move in the same direction.
False.
Yes, it's false. University of Cape Coast, the equity ratio and the debt to asset ratio will always move in opposite directions. The equity ratio and debt to asset ratio will always move in opposite directions.
True.
Yes, it's true. Please, Nduom School of Business, in modern portfolio theory, adding more assets to a portfolio always reduces the portfolio's total risk. In modern portfolio theory, adding more assets to a portfolio always reduces the portfolio's total risk.
False.
Yes, it's false. University of Cape Coast. Modern portfolio theory assumes that investors are risk neutral and are indifferent to the level of risk in their portfolio. Modern portfolio theory assumes that investors are risk neutral and are indifferent to the level of risk in their portfolio.
False.
Yes, it's false. People are getting my true or false questions too much. I don't like it that way. Let's increase the volume small. Next set of questions, we are beginning with the University of Cape Coast. UCC. A beverage company conducts an in-depth interviews with consumers to understand their emotional connection to its flagship brand. This is an example of exploratory research. A beverage company conducts in-depth interviews with consumers to understand their emotional connection to its flagship brand. This is an example of exploratory research.
False.
No. I'm happy now. We can continue. In the School of Business, your major question. A retail brand uses scanner data to measure how frequently a new product is purchased in different regions. This is an example of a descriptive research. A retail brand uses scanner data to measure how frequently a new product is purchased in different regions. This is an example of descriptive research.
False.
It is not false. Thank you. We don't do that here, okay? Next set of questions, still beginning with University of Cape Coast. All right, so prove me wrong here. Fund accounting allows for easy identification of the sources of funds and their intended uses. Fund accounting allows for easy identification of the sources of funds and their intended uses. True or false?
False.
No. How could this be false? Nduom, fund accounting provides greater flexibility in financial reporting compared to other accounting methods. Fund accounting provides greater flexibility in financial reporting compared to other accounting methods. Bonus is available. University of Cape Coast, you want to take this up? Are you taking it up or not? Okay. All right, last set of questions for the round, ladies and gentlemen. Last set of questions. University of Cape Coast, if a linear programming problem is infeasible, then it has no feasible region. If a linear programming problem is infeasible, then it has no feasible region. True or false?
True.
It is true. Nduom School of Business, the last question for this round. The feasible region of a linear programming problem is always convex. The feasible region of a linear programming problem is always convex. True or false? Bonus is available, or the question is available to University of Cape Coast.
False.
It is not false. I took the answer, I didn't take the time. It is not false. On that note, we come to the end of round 5. We come to the end of round 5. We have one final round to go. Nduom, how is it going so far for you? Are we on track?
It's not actually going as expected, but...
What is he saying, Obed?
It is not really going as expected, but we'll still continue.
The University of Cape Coast, how is it going for you?
For a moment, we actually thought we were having a smooth ride until you changed the scope.
It is well. We have one final round to go. So the scores for round 5. All right, so whilst we wait for the final results, we are reminded that the program is brought to us by Graphic Business in partnership with the Institute of Chartered Accountants Ghana. We are also reminded of the TBSC LinkedIn Challenge. What we are asking you to do is to create and publish one original LinkedIn post as a team, okay, and share a meaningful insight or lesson or memorable moment from your TBSC 2025 experience. You can reflect on your team values, the learning outcomes, or the real-world application of business knowledge. Any member of the team can post it on LinkedIn, and then you tag the official hashtag TBSC 2025 Challenge and mention your school's name. The deadline is 7th August, and we are going to reward the school that comes up with the highest reactions. So there are about 5 criteria we will use to award: insightfulness of the post, the level of engagement, which covers like 30%, the professional tone of your message, the creativity, as well as the brand representation. And you stand a chance of getting some cash prizes, a LinkedIn feature post by Graphic Business, publication of your TBSC journey and the team photo in the Graphic Business newspaper, a certificate of digital thought leadership by Career Compass GH, and also an opportunity to be featured in a post-contest video interview. That is what is at stake. Ladies and gentlemen, the scores for round 5. At the end of round 5, NSBT at 5 points, UCC at 5 points. So the final round, 5 riddles in all. Riddles are open to both of you. The first school to ring their bell will be required to give you an answer in 10 seconds. Let me hear the bell from UCC. And that of NSBT. Depending on the clue at which you answer, you may get 5 points, 4 points, or even 3 points. Please, are we ready? There will be 5 riddles in all. Riddle number 1. I am a form of nonverbal communication. I was first used in 1952 by an anthropologist named Ray Birdwhistell. I am a powerful tool for communication, allowing us to convey meaning beyond the spoken word and understand the unspoken messages of others. I am used University of Cape Coast.
Subliminal message.
What?
Subliminal message.
That is not correct. You can no longer partake in this riddle. I am used to reinforce or contradict spoken words, express emotions without speaking, regulate conversation flow, and establish rapport and show engagement. I refer to the interpretation of body motion communication, such as facial expressions, gestures, posture, eye movement, and physical distance. Who am I? NSBT. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, so it's body language.
Don't take that. Kinesics. Riddle number 2. Riddle number 2. I refer to the group of people born in the mid to late 1980s. While not as tech native as millennials, we are generally comfortable with technology and are quick to adopt new tools and platforms. We form a crucial bridge between analog and digital generations, shaping both workplace culture and consumer demands or trends. University of Cape Coast.
Generation Y.
It is not Generation Y. You can no longer partake in this riddle. I continue. We are often described as resourceful and independent, having grown up in a period of significant social and economic change. We are often considered the middle age or middle child generation, sandwiched between the baby boomers and the millennials. I refer to the demographic cohort of individuals born between the mid-1960s and the early 1980s, generally 1965 to 1980. Who am I? Oh. So UCC nearly had it. I'm sure they got confused at a point. It's Generation X, not Y. Generation X, not Generation Y. Riddle number 3. Okay, this time people should get this for me. I'm a concept related to finance and investment. I am mostly used in private equity, venture capital, hedge funds, and real estate investment funds. I am due to general partners based on their role rather than an initial investment in the fund. I'm a performance fee, rewarding the manager for enhancing performance. I'm a share of the profit of an investment paid to the investment manager, specifically in alternative investment, that is either private equity or hedge funds. In Ghana, I am most commonly associated with a form of revenue from government stake in the oil exploration and production venture, where the state is entitled to a share of the oil produced without making financial contributions towards University of Cape Coast.
Carried interest.
Yes, carried interest. That is correct. They answered on the last clue 3 points. Riddle number 6. Riddle number 4. Riddle number 4. I'm one of the 2 main types of trade. I'm a major part of global trade for developed economies. My name is as a result of the fact that my kind of trade does not involve tangible products that can be seen, touched, or stored, yet they are still crucial to a nation's economy. I am found in sectors such as tourism, banking and finance, education, shipping, insurance, and IT services. I am captured in the current account under services. I can create either a surplus or a deficit. I refer to the exchange of services rather than physical goods between countries. Who am I? Audience, somebody wanted to answer? No, it's invisible trade. Our last set of questions for the round. Last riddle. Last riddle. I'm a global framework in accounting. I'm used in determining the fair value of an asset or liability. I was adopted on May 12, 2011, and I formally became effective from January 1, 2013. Fair value is explained here as the price that will be received to sell an asset or paid to transfer a liability in an orderly transaction between markets. University of Cape Coast.
IFRS 13.
Yes, IFRS 13. They answered on the fourth clue, that is 3 points. 3 points. On that note, we come to the end of the contest, ladies and gentlemen. So it's a contest, an interesting one between two schools from the central region. Both are battling it out to decide on who qualifies to the quarterfinal stage. At the end of it all, only one will qualify. We'll take our scores for round 5, and then we take the final scores after. Round 6 scores. The scores for round 6. Nduom School had no score. University of Cape Coast had 6 points in this round. So we'll go for the final results. But before then, your general assessment of the contest in overall. University of Cape Coast.
So overall, we feel like there's more room for improvement, and then more contest is going to make us more exposed to this stage.
Definitely, there's more room for improvement. If you are to make it to the quarterfinal, you need to improve on the performance.
Thank you.
Nduom School of Business, how do you assess the contest overall?
It was quite a challenging one, but we do believe there is more room for improvement. So we'll go and we'll prepare better and come back the next time.
Definitely, there's more room for improvement. If you make it to the quarterfinals, you need to do better than you have done in this contest. So, ladies and gentlemen, the final results at the end of the contest. At the end of the contest, Nduom School of Business and Technology had 23 points. University of Cape Coast had 65 points. So, ladies and gentlemen, on that note, the University of Cape Coast has qualified once again to the quarterfinals of the National Championship. Congratulations to University of Cape Coast. Nduom School of Business, unfortunately you could not win the contest. Your score of 23 is quite high. We will see if you may qualify as one of the best losers. We will have to finish all contests for us to decide on that. But even if you don't come back, you have done good to your school. That's why the very short notice I was given to you, particularly to prepare for this contest. So thank you so much for accepting to be part of this. So, ladies and gentlemen, the contest has come to an end. University of Cape Coast has qualified to the quarterfinal stage once again. The next contest will be between the Pentecost University and the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. So, on behalf of my production team, Franklin Sowa, Yvonne Ayi, Stella Logosu, George Danso, David Ebo, NSJC, Malik Haruna, Yimano Amamo, Agnes Ado, Evans Menta, Alfred Akweje, Felix Tai, David Niama, Abubakar, Evans Tayuba, and Samuel Ansa. Yimano Adi. It's been my pleasure coming your way with this interesting contest. I'll see you again in our next contest. That will be between the KNUST and the Pentecost University. Until then, my name is Al Hassan Yusuf Trauli, and of course, you know what I love. I love academic violence. Bye-bye for now. Audience is ready. Studio audience, I must say, are gingered up. Last quarterfinal contest for day 1 is upon us. To Mudaraba and Musharaka in Islamic finance. I asked you to state and explain. You haven't explained. I want you to explain the points that you have mentioned. Join me as we want to experience some academic violence this afternoon. Team Gamma, 8 members with individual coding speed of 11 tasks per day, operate at 80% efficiency. Determine how many days each team will take to complete the project. Back if you should lose this one. A place at the semi-final is what is at stake. You are tempted to score. Bonus for Central University. On that note, we come to the end of round 4A, ladies and gentlemen. Next set of questions, University of Education, Winneba. 2024 edition.